smoking like, smoking right, it rides bad. It was like, zoom, zoom. It's like, zoom, zoom. It was just like, zoom, zoom.